Good day, friends. Good day, lovely humans. Today's little chat is about the words, about a twisted meaning of one's speaking ability to actually deceive not only others but mostly ourselves. We were so programmed or pre-programmed that whatever we hear, we pick up if was said by somebody of importance, somebody who can illustrate some kind of heavy meaning behind certain phrases or notions, pretending they will follow, these words will follow with quite an interesting action. So today is a day about the oxymoronic behavior in the human, let's say, communication skills. Title: Fresh Fish Oxymoron and How to Go About It, or How to Go Around It. See, even the title can be written that we don't dwell like what I really want to say. Yeah, I'm talking about the meal, right? Fresh fish. But there's no fish that it's actually fresh if it's ready for eating. Because as soon as you take it out of the water, it is dead. So freshly killed fish would be, let's say, less dramatic exposure of a meaning how you're eating freshly killed fish. It has a very close relationship with my previous video about freshly extracted adrenochrome from the children that are still alive. And then the process of draining their life source energy from their bodies, they're actually producing the adrenaline that is in combination with the oxygen in the air, producing this substance that these dark ones would kill for. And this is not an oxymoron, this is a just blunt statement, because for them to create something of so-called value for them, they have to kill, and they have to kill many young children or youth. If you care, listen previous video with the title, When Dreams Are Not So Easy to Be Dreamt. It's a very gruesome depiction of me being present in shutting down the 4 biggest adrenochrome factories in Ukraine, Bulgaria and Albania. Underground facilities, some are on the surface or like kind of half in the back of the cave, and the frontage was done as a cover-up. So matter not, the oxymoronic approach to our life or daily living was so obvious, so twisted, so in our face that we never looked back, we never examined why these things exist, how they produce these adrenochromes, how they produce a fish for your, let's say, daily consumption, or how they produce a pig or a steak from the cow for your daily pleasures. When you realize what you're actually eating, a dead carcasses, doesn't matter, fish, cow, or a child, or organs of these children, then you basically realizing that you absolute cannibal, you carnivore. And only the psyche inside of your vocabulary is telling you that this was okay, this was normal. Yes, maybe in some very dark and sinister world where everything can go. Eating other beings with the soul or with the spirit, you're giving yourself an excuse to, oh, I'm only eating red meat and this is very good for your health, right? Or excuses, oh, we don't eat meat, we only eat chicken. Or even better one, you know, we are vegetarians, we only eat fish. I mean, all these stupid, truly like moronic statements for the people that want to cover the tracks they're really blunt killers. You exterminators of life that has been created here by creation. And so ignorantly using these so-called fake words to present yourself in some kind of a good manner. We're driving in a Cape, and the idea for this talk came just from seeing a sign, fresh fish. Denise was start laughing about how the fresh can be a dead creature. I mean, it stinks. We have to close the windows because we're going through this little, let's say, village where they catching and distributing a dead fish. So apply this on anything else. You're consuming a dead money. You giving your life source energy to create some service, actions, or even a product, and then in return you receive a dead money. It's dead. Fiat money is dead. Has no backings, has no value, yet you've been tricked, like pretty much everything else, to be part of this scheme. So why they're so in a big trouble now? All these bankers, all this so-called elite, not only with the money problem, but now with the supply of their source of energy or source of life, which was eating another human being or consuming it through, yeah, they receive a little ampules that for ampule size of 50 ml, you need 20 or so medium-sized children to be scared to death, killed, drained, and extracting the adrenochrome in a very fast manner, because you cannot, let's say, sustain in the blood if it's too much oxygenated, and then it gets, let's say, dried or it starts dying fast. Anyway, they're selling adrenochrome online. They're having sprays, cookies, drops, all the kind, especially the eye drops. So you're wondering why some of these creatures, when you see the politicians or the main demon rats, who are kind of still lingering around in the public eye, when you see their eyes go red, what is the what is the reason behind this? What is the crucial point where you're just trying to hear the words and you actually feel they're lying through their mouth? But if you watch them in their eyes, there's, well, nobody of sane mind is there. It's just some kind of creature lingering and just like kind of flashing in front of their eyes or inside their psyche, and I see them as dead creatures. They've been actually terminated in the sense because we terminated their food supply. So go back to the dead fish. So what's happened to you, meat eater, carnivore, cannibal? When we stop production of any of these heavy, fear manufacturing plants, they're producing steaks, chicken legs, hamburgers. What's happened then when you don't have these supplies? How are you going to sustain yourself? Do you have any idea that there is actually a great possibility for you? Yes, you were addict, let's say, on the blood products, on synthetic drugs that were, pushed through many of these processed foods and processed meats. But most of all, you were an addict of the fear hormone or whatever, fear chemical that was infused in every of these meat products, fish products. So you've been an addict. Once when you accept this, then you will start looking for solutions. And the best place to start is creationlightship.com, where there's many healings for the creatures like you. Because a process from going from the creature into the, let's say, a human camp, or more human than you ever been before, is quite tedious. It's not an easy to quit all of your bad habits. And look at this, bad habits. Another oxymoron that has no sense. Why you don't have a good habit that actually save life, that actually give you a better living? Words in my book of life are very important. Yet how to teach another if they just don't want to hear? They call you names. They call me and Denise all different names because we're exposing stuff that are not, easy to swallow, but they're actually very, very, calming for your body. Once when you realize the truth, you've been lied, and the only thing that's kind of hurting you when you, let's say, getting rid of addictions is your ego and many creatures that were lingering around you. But I can suggest, listen some of these videos from before. Listen some of the videos that Denise and I did it in, I think 2016 or so, 17 maybe, with the commands that Denise was giving for all of the creatures that were actually imposed on our energetic bodies, on our physical bodies, through false teachings, through New Age teachings, through religions, through the banking. Because all of this has to be crushed. But let's say that the overlord of, we'll use example of the banking now, has been deleted. But you're still lingering in a fear, addiction, to pay your bills on time, to pay your mortgage, to, I don't know, whatever is, let's say, related with the money. Or you don't have ability to have a good, or you think that you don't have a good meal if you don't have a steak or a fish or octopus. Especially these are the favorites of the darks when they sell in the extra luxurious restaurants, the octopus, whatever, ink. You're actually eating a poison from the octopus or a squid, whatever. The tentacles of the octopus, they are so, I don't know, in especially Indonesia area, they are a feast. Yet these tentacles have poison little insides. So basically you're poisoning yourself. This is what, when you're eating the meat. But what is inside this meat or these fishes, when they died, when they struggled for the last breath, when they realized this is my last day being so-called free, and what I produce? Fear. Same as humans, same as massive amount of children and youngsters. They've been abducted and then tortured and then killed. So we were not as human as we thought we were, as a species. We've been actually deluded. We've been thought that we have, like, two legs, bipods, one head, two eyes. Now we invented a third eye. Now we need a third eye. And the only, let's say, if you're listening to some of these quasi-gurus of the New Age, the third eye is the only eye they can see. See where? Why? You don't find sufficient your two good and healthy eyes that you have? Or people choosing to go meditate, and they have to leave their very ill and infested body to find some peace in these, let's say, couple of hours of meditation. When they actually leave their body, they flee their body, which becomes absolutely open for any of the creatures that are hovering around you. Especially when you join these, let's say, group meditations or online meditations, it's tremendous difficulty for me, like even hearing these stuff, because I can see the entities hovering around. If you go for a stadium, watching, I don't know, soccer game, whatever, rugby, whatever stupid country gave you, like some bread and some circus, so you will be like, well fed, and you'll be satisfied with the entertainment they so-called like producing for you, so you not be too wise to think, is it possible that I've been duped, that we've been tricked out of our sanity? This is not the freedom. Yet when I watch sometimes a scene on a TV, like a quick, if I change or the advertisement comes in and they're showing the stadiums full of these screaming creatures, I see 20,000 people there, but what I see, hundreds of thousands of spirits, ghosts, jinns, emotional bodies of the dead people. They're hovering around waiting for some room in these physical bodies. Because the biggest and the most cherished commodity on this planet is human body. Not in vitro, not the one that produced in a lab, that the clones are done like in a matter of weeks, they grow the full human body. But it has no life substance. So they try to simulate a spirit that is synthetic, or soul, let's say, because they cannot produce spirit. They have a fraction of the spirit. They try to find a way to make a synthetic soul. I know these are the subjects nobody want to hear, but anyway, for me, my job is to disclose them. For you is to hear or not, matter not. Because eventually you'll be your own judge when you realize what you've done to another. How many animals have been killed by your lust for food? How many children have been drained of their life source for your usage of the chemicals, or for your usage of McDonald's, Kentucky Chicken Fry? These all contains parts of the little children in the mixture. So you become an addict, or let's say you realize not maybe that you just crave for something. What is this craving? This is addiction. Why nicotine is so nasty to your health? Because it's based on androgen. It's a chemical substance. It's a synthetic substance that it didn't come from the leaves, or so-called like a tobacco. This was grown for your own enslavement. This was grown in the labs. Now they're trying to make lab-grown meat, or a fish, or salmon that was grown in vitro, in a petri dish. This is a bits of information that are coming out, but this process exists in the, or it was existing, sorry, in the underground layers of these inhumane creatures for centuries. So they realized, let's start using the surface, and they will breed among themselves. We'll just genetically modify it, push them in a certain direction. We'll make them docile, we'll make them stupefied. And we did. We end up very, very stupid. We end up very, totally unaware. And not blame anybody, in the sense of you cannot do much when you're born in a certain family. They already have their own fears. They already have their own programs. As soon as you're born, you've been slapped a barcode, that barcode, on your physical body, sometimes multiple ones. And if you survive, then this trauma is used so they can split a section of your spirit and just use it for another sinister purposes. In a parallel timeline, in a stretched timelines, upside down timelines. Denise says, really, all these names, yet I get very upset listening how many of these types of stealing timelines they have been created based on our energy, based on our spirit energy, based on our heart energy. That is absolutely enormous. Yet what to do about this? What to do about this frigging talks that you're hearing from me from time to time? Maybe nothing, but I hope it will give you some resolution to stop eating another being that has been created by Prime Creator. Stop being selfish in your needs to satisfy your lust for cigarette, for drugs, for medications, for victimhood, for more money. Just decide that what you have, it's your first day of your new life. And then you start shedding all of these bad habits and start creating some of the good ones.
Let's give them a helicopter ride, okay? Right? Good.